Hello, hi. So nice
Right.
to meet you.
Yeah, you too. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? I'm so excited for this.
I'm good. Yeah, me too. All right, so my first question is what drew you to your unsung hero?
Um, I think it was because one, she's a woman, and I personally relate to that also, and also that she's involved in STEM. Um, while I do art as my main thing, I really love math and biology, which is kind of like a weird other part to what I like to do. But it was interesting to see her struggles in navigating that field when to me it's so easy now, because that's something available to me in school regardless of whether or not I'm a male or female. And so I thought that it was very interesting to learn about her struggle in the 1800s. So.
Yeah, I feel like everyone, including myself, like we all forget that people had to work so hard to get us to the point that we're at today, where the liberties we have are kind of taken for granted, I guess, as like commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great. And one thing you focused on so heavily was the strength and persistence it took for her to accomplish her goals as a woman. How do her accomplishments resonate with you as a woman today, beyond just like being able to take your classes and everything?
Well, I think despite all the massively significant progress that's happened over the last 200 years in forwarding education for women, I think that there's still um, plenty of prejudice against women in other fields, even in art. I've felt that personally sometimes in just modern galleries in my own city right now visiting. I feel that sometimes, and I think that her struggles relate to how women today are still working for equality in their workplaces, just in any field. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. And then you painted her in the grand manner style. And I was just wondering what kind of drew you to that as opposed to doing something more abstract or something different? Like, why specifically that? I know it was to elevate her, but is there any creative reason you chose?
Well, it it kind of went well with the work that I've already been doing. I'm really wild about doing portraiture, and I love traditional oil painting. And so for me, it made sense to adopt this trope that was in art history that relates to the medium I'm working in. And I personally enjoyed it because I got to apply what I've been learning recently in my art history class about the grand manner of portraiture, and then also my own style. And so that was fun to meld together.
Mhm. Yeah. And you are an oil painter and paint a lot with oil. So what kind of drew you to that?
Oh, wow. Well, I took a workshop at an art school in San Antonio called Sofya School of Art in the summer of 2016, right before I joined high school. And I got an introduction to the medium, and I like have been loving it ever since. It was really, I really enjoy the medium because it's so smooth and fun to work
Mhm.
with. And so that's why I've been oil painting for um, all of high school. So.
Nice. Yeah. And what do you want to do with art in the future?
Well, the big goal is to become a studio artist and be making my own work and hopefully working with commercial galleries to sell it in the
Mhm.
future after graduating from college. And I'm also hoping to do some workshop teaching on the side and doing commissions. And that's the big career goal.
Yeah, all the different pieces of the big goal. And at what point did you realize that art was something you wanted to pursue professionally and not just as like a hobby or something that you're passionate about?
Mhm. Well, when I was a little kid, I was dead set on I'm going to be an artist and that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
like as I got older, I was like, well, I don't know, you can't really make a whole lot of money doing that. But I was in two after-school art programs in high school. In the first one that I was in from 2016 to 2019, I just got to explore a bunch of different media, and then we also had our first group shows. That was the first thing that I'd ever participated in, and so it started to feel like art could be a real career.
Hmm.
And then I just joined another art program called Blue Star Mosaic at Blue Star Contemporary in San Antonio. And then I really started learning the business behind art, and that was really encouraging to me because it really felt like a career that I could pursue. And so now I am gonna go pursue it. So I'm really
Yeah, that makes sense. Like when it's more tangible, it feels easier to like jump in instead of just seeing it as this far away thing.
Yes.
How would you describe your artistic voice?
Um, well, let's see. In a lot of my paintings, I also do a lot of still lifes. I really focus on evoking like a really quiet and calm mood, mostly because that's how I feel when I'm working from life, making a still life. It's a very zen process for me, and so I hope that that comes through in my artwork. And so I use subtle colors and soft brushwork and try to give it this very quiet atmosphere. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the kind of technical mood that I try to push in my artistic voice. And then also in my portraiture, I usually paint women. And so uh, I try to focus on painting them in this kind of empowering way. And so right now I'm working on a portrait of my sister that's full figure, about, it's like right behind the camera. It's about 6 feet high.
Oh
And
wow.
it's her outdoors looking very majestic, but it's from like the point of view of like looking up at her, and I'm trying to paint her looking very powerful. And that's something I try to do in my figurative work.
That's awesome that you elevate like women to the level that they should be. So cool.
Thank
Good to
you.
see. Who are your current art inspirations?
Right now, I've really been looking at Adrienne Stein, and I have been looking at her work for a few years. Her work, I wrote about this in my bio, but it's very enigmatic, and she also always portrays her women as, or the women that she paints as very powerful, and that to me seems empowering to see women portrayed that way. It's from a woman's lens as opposed to like an objective
Mm-hmm.
kind of way to paint women. And so I really appreciate that about her work. And then I also just really love her use of color, and she's a phenomenal figurative painter. And so I also look to her technically because she's very skilled. So.
Awesome. Yeah. And what are your goals with your artwork, and what are the messages you want to communicate?
Well, what I really like to do is convey the strength of women, and that's the more political side of my artwork. And then the other side with still lifes and landscapes is creating like this positive, just peaceful mood that I think all people can appreciate sometimes. Um, and so yeah, I would say that that's the message, is creating positive, uplifting images. Well, this was so fun. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with me today.
Awesome. Thank you.